What's up? Welcome to Updates with Mr. Warford. This is for my AP Human Geography people. So yesterday I gave you a little critical thinking question as we learned about folk culture and pop culture. So we talked about isolation versus globalization. Is pop culture or folk culture more apt to be isolated or globalized? And here's your answer. So local and folk cultures, and you need to know this for the AP exam, local and folk cultures are more isolated, more based on tradition, more based on a rural lifestyle and economy, more conservative, more slow to change, made of homogenous groups, meaning the same, and it usually spreads through relocation diffusion. Popular culture, on the other hand, is a big proponent of globalization because, as we learned yesterday, pop culture always changes. It's based on capitalism, a heterogeneous group, or heterogeneous groups of people, I should say, are part of pop culture because pop culture goes across the landscape. You can go to China and see people wearing NBA basketball jerseys. So different groups of people, different races, ethnicities, genders, lifestyles, nationalities, can all experience pop culture, not so much in localized or folk culture. And popular culture spreads through hierarchical diffusion. We're going to learn about a couple new vocab terms today and read a little excerpt to look at an example of that. The first term is assimilation. That's the process of people losing original culture traits when they come into contact with another culture. So an example of that would be that maybe the grandchildren of Indian immigrants are still Hindus, but they don't eat traditional Indian food or speak the language. So assimilation or assimilating into a culture means that you're losing original parts of your own culture. And in some cases, that could mean a positive thing. In some cases, it could mean negative, and we're going to learn about that. And then next is acculturation. And that's when people move into a new area, adopt the practices of the larger group, but they still maintain huge elements of their own culture. So one example that you're going to see a lot and read about, and I'm going to talk about, is how in large cities, you'll see places where a certain group has called that home, taken that part of a city over, and then their culture is very vibrant in that place. So you'll see places called Chinatown. You'll see places called Little Havana, where there's big Cuban populations. You'll see places like Little Italy, where Italian populations have gone into that area and made it their own. So acculturation means you join a new culture, but big parts of your own are still there. You need to know those two terms. Now, what we're going to do today is we're going to read an excerpt of a reading about a Russian immigrant family that comes over to the United States. So I want you to determine importance as you read. What are the ways that the Russian family adopted American culture traits, whatever they explain those to be in the reading? Then after you determine importance, I want you to synthesize. Remember, synthesize means to find new meaning, put evidence together to find new meaning in a reading. So synthesize from all the evidence you gathered, is that an example of acculturation or assimilation? And if you're still kind of stuck on those two words, look them up in the AP book or the AMSCO textbook, and they'll give you some examples as well. Let me know if you have any questions. Peace.